Forward. Say JC. If anybody doesn't know who this is Mr. JC Hite from Hite Digital. Um, you could tell us a little bit about yourself for those that don't know you. I mean, I don't think there's not too many people that don't know you, but you never know. So,
Uh-oh. Good old boy from Arkansas. I lived in Nicaragua for the last many years and grew an agency. We got man, we're getting close to 200 people inside the agency. Started off as a white label company, and we still do a little bit of that, but not much. And but really made a name for ourselves going to the franchise world. That's where we shot up and grew. And over the last year, we've been getting rid of crappy partners. We've been acquiring some of the franchises, honing it in, and continuing to expand our offer and continue to grow and scale. And it's been an incredible ride. We got a mastermind, an event, and all kinds of things, but everything is focused on the agency space.
the agency space and more hands on. That's kind of what I like about. I see what y'all are doing is like y'all are very much hands on and helping the agencies and stuff. And one thing that I know you're doing right now, I'd like to hear some on, and if anybody in here doesn't know about it or people that are live don't know about it, is you recently you were in Nicaragua and you moved back to the States for some wild and crazy idea
Yeah.
of actually not just talking the talk but walking the walk
That's
and
right.
taking an agency from not having anything, no email list, no nada, just starting from scratch and showing people how it's done. So I kind of want to touch on that a
Yeah.
little bit and hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I had a few things that I really wanted to do there. And
Mm-hmm.
number one, I grew my agency 6 years ago. It's a different environment today. And obviously I coach and not coach, but work with a lot of agencies in the space. And so, are the things that I did still applicable? Like what does it change? What does it look like? And so, as you grow and scale your agency, you start getting repeatable and repeatable and repeatable. So I think it was a good opportunity for me to go, you know what, let me just go, let's see what this looks like. And so there's three reasons why we decided to go start an agency from scratch. Now it's still called Hite, but literally I'm not allowed to use anything in my arena. So I don't use my team. I don't use those connections. I
Yeah,
have,
so I was about to ask you that is like, so are you like, I mean, because I've been watching it and I think it's amazing, just
yeah,
seeing it, because it's one of the things I wish kind of like whenever I started, I remember Gary Vee talks about it, don't create document. And you're actually documenting
yeah,
everything, not just
everything,
we were
man.
just talking, I was just talking to Chris Palmer about this. Is I wonder who's going to actually do, let's say, the 2023 losses,
Yeah,
or actually showing the heartaches and the stuff that you got
yeah.
to go through as well. And it's like, so you're not using your team, and I know
Nope,
you have a team, you have staff, a lot of them.
nope.
So are you like recreating a new team just for this new company as
I'm gonna
needed and
do
as you
everything that,
grow?
yeah, I can't do anything that someone else couldn't do. Like that's kind of the rules behind it, right? So like I interviewed today an intern at the local college to help me out with some stuff, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
anybody could do. I'm not using my team. In fact, I was telling Kevin Harrington about this the other day. He's the OG Shark Tank guy, and I was telling him like, hey, here's what I'm doing. He's like, man, I'll come out and do an event in Searcy, and we'll get you to 10K in profit in 2 days. And I was like, that would be amazing. Can't do it, right? Like it's got to
Yeah.
be, all these things. Now, of course, I've got 6 years of experience, right? But what I have found is that it's about doing very simple things consistently. And that's really what I'm focused on. But even me, like I spent so I've got 4 months to do it. The goal is to get to $10,000 in profit, not revenue, profit within 10 months, within 4 months. I spent my first month. I'm in week 3 right now. I didn't pitch anything. I mean, didn't pitch a thing. Didn't really. I just met people, talked to people. I ended up meeting with the mayor. I ended up meeting with several people. Just, man, how can I serve? What can I do? What's the environment look like? What's the goals? Can you introduce me to someone? Right. So again, my first intention is to set a path, a
Yeah.
way for people to do it and to watch. Right. Like, I can do this without risk. My family's gonna eat at night. Right. Thing two is that at Hite, we needed a better way to scale. Like, like once you start growing and scaling, you got to do it at a faster rate. So I'll give you an example. A normal agency is going to lose 8 or 9% churn rate in their agency in any given month. Well, if you're only $20,000 in revenue, that's one client. But once you get to, 5, 6, 7 million in revenue, you got to be selling some.
It's a lot.
You got to be selling. You got to continue to grow, right? Like, and that's just a natural. Some people might say, "Oh, JC, you're just outselling churn." Well, that's just a reality. Netflix has to sell more than they churn, right? Like it's just part of the game. And so we wanted
Think
a
from
more
what Josh, I'm sorry, what Josh Nelson even talks about. I think it's like, was it that that churn rate even is still that's amazingly low because the standard from what I thought he had said something like 20 something percent is
It's crazy.
ridiculously.
I did a research study with digital marketer and I led it. And it depends on the product, depends on how long you've been in business, depends on is the owner managing the clients or you outsourcing it. And we put together a really good formula for like what you expect it to be. We've always seen a baseline of about 8, but it goes up dramatically. If you're only doing Facebook ads, it's going to be closer to 15 to 20 any day.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay.
and so number one, I want to show the world. Number two, what does it look like for Hite to expand through hiring sales agents throughout the United States, right? Or any agency for that matter. So the experiment's really cool, I think, for larger agencies going, okay, if I hired a sales guy, what the crap would I have them do? Like what would they do on a daily basis? What would their KPIs be? What's a more
Okay.
sustainable model, right? And then number
It's
three.
kind of like the sorry to keep interrupting. It's like the other day you showed in the group. I remember seeing it's just a picture of it. Was the local? It's like oh, what is this? Like a money saver magazine. They have them in Florida, and it had
Yeah, it was
all
the
the people
Thirsty
spending
Living
ads on,
magazine.
let's say, carpet cleaning or roofer and stuff. And those are already people that are already spending money.
Yeah,
And you were showing people these are great sponsors or people that you could actually reach out to.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that was specifically looking at, so the third reason is I invested in a technology called Werelocal last year, and amazing founders, and we bought a significant chunk of the organization. I believe that it can change the way agencies scale over the next year. Like, I mean, it is nuts. And essentially it's a digital magazine. So you take a local magazine and you digitalize it, but then you syndicate it. So the SEO is so powerful. And it's built as a magazine, but of course it has in the back end directories and listings and all this other stuff. In our alpha city, which is in Salem, Oregon, bro, we're like, if you do a Google search for a business, the GMB on the right hand side, they're pulling our reviews from Werelocal. And
Yeah.
so the power of it, I wrote an article last week in my magazine on finding the best plumber. And if you look for best plumber Cersei, I'm on page 1 in 6 days.
Nice.
Right. And so the power of owning your own media. And we're going through how I'm doing that. And I've already even from like week 3, I'm like, oh man, what I did there was wrong. Let me change that up and let me do this and let me do that. And so it's been a really interesting journey, dude. And I'm gonna hit 10K in profits. I may hit 20. And then I announced in the group the other day, my real goal, and I don't know if you saw this, but my real goal is to sell it in 7 months for $1 million.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so
I saw it. It's very easily
if I can do
attainable.
that, that'll be nuts. But I have a game plan for it. I haven't really divulged all the game plan just quite yet. I'm kind of releasing it slowly but surely. But it's been we've got a couple of interested buyers. And again, this is the power of you also owning a media company in the city, is that nobody can take it from you, right? It's not like, well, just let me go get the clients, right? Or let me just outsell you. Like, you actually own an asset in the city that's really hard to duplicate.
Yeah,
Really,
it
really
gives you
hard.
stickability, if you will. Like other people use like go high level and stuff and
Yeah,
give them different things you can't get. And if you go
yeah,
to another agency, you can't get all this other stuff that comes with our package because it's stickable. So
that's right.
interesting. So what's the net? I mean, what's the schedule look like? I mean, because a lot of people that are in here might not have heard of it. I know you go live practically every day.
Nearly every day. I was supposed to go live today at 3:30 and had to run a quick errand last minute. So I didn't go live today, but I'm pretty much going live every day. Normally it's about 3:30 or 4 every single day. Tomorrow it'll be a little early around 1. And so everything's recorded inside the group. If you miss it, if you don't, if you can catch it live, awesome. Ask me questions while I'm out. But and we're going over a lot of stuff. I'm having not only documenting the session, but just side conversations like how we manage service, how do we manage clients, how to hire a team, how to do all this type of stuff is like kind of the side conversations going on in the group. And again, this isn't theory. This isn't ideas. This is someone who's actually probably been where you're wanting to go with the business and doing many millions in revenue just in the fulfillment side, right?
So what do you think is the hardest part, in really starting the agency? Um, and if you will, someone that's never done it, what are some of the setbacks and things you think that you faced that you might have would have done different, if you're looking back on it?
It's a good question. Um, I think there's a couple of setbacks people do normally that I see. Um, One is around talent and hiring people. I have found that I want to go after experienced people. And so someone has to be the expert, right? You're selling SEO. Either you need to be the expert so that you can audit, QA, check the work of whoever's doing the SEO, or you need to
Mhm.
make for certain that other person's an expert. Because what I find a lot of times is people will hire someone, they don't white label it, which in a lot of cases they should, but they hire some VA to do it who said that they know SEO. And because I don't know SEO, I have no idea if he's doing great. I have no idea if he's doing good. And I won't know for several months down the road, right? And so I think one thing that we did when we started Hite is our first 40 members probably had an average of 4 or 5 years of experience. We went after agencies that we knew crushed it and we recruited there all freaking day long. And I would say that if you can't do that, you got to go after a reputable white label program and find someone who, okay, this guy probably knows what he's doing. A
Mhm.
good indicator even of those things is, well, anyway, um, the other thing is man, I mean, everyone struggles with sales. Everyone does. I mean, you've got an imposter syndrome. We justify laziness a lot, a
Mm.
lot. Man, oh, I don't want to do that. My kids are so important. I can't da 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 da. Oh, I need to work on my offer more. And some of them are accurate. Like we're really good at justifying things we don't want to do and procrastinating. And so with sales, you got to keep it simple and you got to be very consistent with it. And you got to wait for it to start compounding the ROI. So it's it's a tough journey. We got lucky,
Yeah.
man. We got lucky because we hired some hella good people. I mean, like that is all my job was for the first year of our business was sales and recruiting the best people I could with the most experience.
Interesting. So with experience, it's like what's the difference between, if you will, because white I'm a white labeler, but what's the difference you would think between why would someone white label versus why would someone run it all in house? Because you have this more experience. Everything y'all pretty much do, from what I know, is a lot of it's in house anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
everything we've always done is in-house. I think it depends on the leader. Man, some people want a big company or think they want a big company, but you suck at leadership and
yeah,
management, and building KPIs and holding people responsible and firing people. You suck at it. I mean, most people I have seen suck at it. And in which case, don't do it. I mean,
yeah,
you can run, you can white label and you can keep such a simple operation. You sell SEO at $1,500, you white label it for $500, you got 10 clients, you're making 10K. No employees, no VA, keep it simple, keep it easy. And there are so many people undervaluing what that right there looks like.
yeah,
Like they're in our culture, it's like you want to hire so many people, VA, cheap labor, and I think there's so much opportunity in just freaking doing it yourself and doing it really, really well and keeping it easy.
yeah.
Um, So
I
this is
actually just
all,
wrote something about that on one of my notes because I take notes a lot when I'm sitting down. It's like a big team or a bloated team does not equal success because a lot of people they see a big team and they think that's success. And it's a lot of times you don't need all that. Like we cut back on our team. We were at 60 something at one point. Now we're down to like 27,
yeah,
but we didn't need it and stuff. And a lot, and I asked that question before when I spoke. It's called SEO Underground, but
yeah.
was how many of you want to, how many of you want to, client base of 100 or this or that, and a lot of them they raise their hands and they want it. How much money do you want to make and stuff like that? And they have this, if you will, vision in their mind that just really, in my opinion, does not exist when it comes to a big team and big agency. Like they see everybody seeing, they don't see all the, if you will, the ups and downs and all the crap you got to go through
Oh
too.
man,
So
life is easy till people get involved. I love having a team. That's my passion. Like I love building a team. I love it so much. Like I was born to figure out at least how to lead people. Like I love it. I love it. I am, but it's like, those families that have 10 kids. It's like
mhm,
that's bat crazy. I mean, why in the world would you have 10 kids? But they love
yeah,
it. That's kind of what it looks like to have a huge team. People like you think you want it, but like, man, it's really, really tough. And dealing with people and the anxiety that comes when times are tough and having to lay off someone if you did the wrong move and all this type of stuff. Like there's a so I think there's a lot of value in white labeling. I think there's value in building your own team. I just think people really need to have a inner reflective time and really understand, like, is this really what's good for me and my personality and what I can do? um, if I was to go and start an own agency,
yeah,
and let's say I wanted freedom and I valued
mm,
I just want to be with my family, make as much money as possible, I would start just me. I would get up to 20 clients. I charge 1,500 to 2,000 for SEO. I'd outsource it for 500, whatever. I'd make as soon as I got to 20 clients, I would find a one account manager. I'd pay that account manager like $6,000 base salary plus a bunch. Okay. So that one person would manage 40 clients. Those 40 clients would give me, after, white label fulfillment would give me about 40 grand minus them. I'd make 30,000 and I could take a vacation. I could
yeah,
not sell. I could do whatever I want. And so, but I would meet with those clients on a quarterly basis. I would check in with them. I'd be available. If that account manager quit, I'd step right in personally, right? Like
mm,
keep it simple. You keep it highly profitable. And you move it from there. A lot of these, and I don't know how you do it, but a lot of these guys are trying to get VAs to check their emails and to do all this jazz, and it sounds exciting, but I don't know. I still check my own emails every day, answer my own texts. I
yeah.
even write my own Facebook posts, and
Yeah, I do the sales, the marketing aspect being
yeah,
posts in the groups and posts on my wall and my offers and my
yeah,
emails. That's the stuff I
yeah,
still do. I do all that. So
yeah,
how did you, because I mean one of the big things I know whenever like when I first got started, it wasn't like you go, I want to start up a very successful agency, I want to get hundreds of clients. It was none of that. It's like I just need to make ends meet, bro. I just need to make I just may make some money to pay bills. And then you hire this person, then this person becomes this person.
yeah.
Next thing you know, you got 60 freaking staff or whatever, or even 20 or 30 or 10. How do you get to the point where you love building teams, or you as a person, like you specifically, love building teams and leadership? I know you're around Maxwell a lot, and I will get to that, but it's like, how did you get to that point? And then what in turn led you to Maxwell, as well?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Since I was a kid, I just love people. And I grew up in a really rough situation when I was a kid. And I remember looking at like my mom's face when the electricity went off in the house, and, and she tried to like, make it sound good, or, make it, couldn't afford the electricity, right? Like I remember these things. And for me, I want to, my passion is moms and dads. Like, how do I create stability for them? And I have just always honed into that. If you work for Hite, your kids are on scholarship. And we did that even through COVID. Like we cut a lot of stuff, but we don't cut, from our parents, try to. And so I've just really grabbed that passion, and it's developed, it's moved, it's grown over the years, and I've just really, honed into it. And that's for me, like what I'm committed to is I want to be a leader worthy of leadership. I think today we have a lot of leaders not worthy of it, but because of marketing and branding and some really good PR, they're on top leading the
Mm.
way we want to do. And so, for me, I'm just really anxious, and that kind of what led to my relationship with Maxwell, I guess, if you mentioned that. So we brought Maxwell to one of our events and spoke, and him and I just had a lot of one-on-one time. And if you don't know who John Maxwell is, he's the number one probably authority in the world on leadership. John Maxwell coaching program is the largest coaching program in the world with 55,000 coaches. And so I've got an opportunity. We brought in Maxwell to do not only a personal mentor to Karen and I, but actually he's a mentor to our mastermind. And so he meets with our mastermind once a month. And then also we're actually doing a mastermind at his place in October for our mastermind called Committed. And that's a lot of fun as well. So we do a lot of work with John. We do a lot of work with, oh, I didn't even see Adam Chronister's in here. He's in our group. He's amazing. Sorry, I didn't even see people who are on this live. And so that's been an incredible, incredible resource, and he's someone that just loves on people, and he's just in our space, I think there's a lot of one of my other mentors said that there's the sizzle and there's the steak. And when you're looking at people in the world, there's sizzle, which is like these really fun guys, like you just name them, Alex Ramosi and Gary V and all these, like, I mean, they're just a lot of sizzle, and they've got a lot of steak as well. Like, don't get me wrong. Maxwell is just a pure steak guy, man. Was from preacher to 55,000 people under him. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. The amount of he's no sizzle at all. He's just pure, like, here's what it is, right? And so that's been a lot of fun. We've done a lot of work with like Kevin Harrington and Jesse Itzler, and I'm working on something right now with Jesse that hopefully will be coming to fruition over the next month or two. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
What masterminds do you have, or conferences besides Committed? Where could they find out more information about Committed if they wanted to join and stuff?
A great question. They should just DM me if they want more information, or they can go to committedmastermind.org.
Okay.
Committedmastermind.org. I think is the place. Man.
Let me get it. Committed Mastermind.
Committedmastermind.com. Oh man, look at that. Committedmastermind.com. And they can learn all about the group and what we do there. That's been really fun. So our mastermind is very different than a lot. A lot of masterminds are, okay, I'm going to sign up for this person and I want to go learn from him and be in the room for him, right? Ours is more of a club. So I don't take any money from Committed at all. Literally, Committed is self-funded, right? And so we have 40 members, and we have someone like John Maxwell as a mentor. Like 100% of the funds are going right back in. And so our goal is to get to 100 members. We're going to cap it at 100 members. Then 100% of the resources go into getting us access to the smartest people in the world, right? And so we're really, truly a circle, right? We're learning from everyone. I've got a meeting. I think my team had a meeting with Adam, is in our Committed Mastermind, Adam Chronister, and we had a meeting today learning from him, right? And so, like, everyone learns from everyone in our group. We try to pay it forward as much as possible.
Yeah. Another thing, I mean, most people don't touch on this usually, but your faith is also a big part of your agency and your life. And, most people just do not post about that sort of thing. It's like, don't touch politics and don't touch religion.
Yeah.
And JC Hite goes, no, I will be touching on.
Yeah, I don't touch politics. That's definitely not going to happen. But man, yeah, dude, I can't help it. We bring faith into everything we do. We got Buddhists in our group, atheists in our group, everything. We love everyone, I think, the same way Jesus would. But we do, man. If you're in fact, in our in the undercover agency, if you're in that Facebook group, every Wednesday we do a Devo. Like yesterday we had Steve Weatherford on that Devo, which is a ex-NFL Super Bowl, winning guy. And he had a Super Bowl trophy in the background of the phone call. So he led our Devo yesterday. And we try to bring faith into, everything we do, whether it's the mastermind, the events, you name it, right?
Do you believe that has a lot to do with your caring for people and wanting to help people and not just being about the sizzle, if you will, or the glamour and
Yeah,
the glitz and all that stuff?
yeah, 100%. So Karen and I tie faith and family into everything we do. And I am dead set. Karen and I were, when we got married, I did very, very well before we got married and had a Cessna airplane. I had a Harley. I had about 50 something houses, and we lost it all the year we got married. And we moved into the maid's quarters of her dad's house for the first year of our marriage.
Wow.
We lived on a twin size bed, literally the commode you could see from the bed. So, I mean, literally a maid's quarters, right? So your first year of marriage, the twin bed next to the commode.
First
So
year of marriage, you lost everything.
yeah, we lost everything.
Man.
And so for me, like, that's why Karen and I do this together, right? Like, we want to showcase that, like, at the end of the day, that's what matters. If you have a good home, man, it gives you so much energy and power as an entrepreneur to do some really great things. But if you go home anxious about telling your wife what happened, if you go home anxious that, man, something else is going to happen or whatever the case may be, if your home is good, man, that gives you a lot of gasoline to go fight this world of entrepreneurship. And faith is the same way. It is really tough to be an entrepreneur. There's a lot more people out there trying to build an agency and trying to survive and trying to figure it out than there is people that have success with it. It is
So
not.
you would definitely tie your success to your wife and having a good partner. So
100%. Yeah, no, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And can you do it without it? Of course. Of course you can. But for me, like, that's always been, it's my secret formula. And I'll tell you a couple of ways, like, you can use your spouse. Because some of you might say, like, oh, my spouse is a stay-at-home mom, or she's an interior designer, or she's whatever, right? Man, that is a perfect person to go practice sales with. If you go and tell your wife, who probably knows as much about SEO as that roofer does, or that plumber, or that whatever, and you go and try to sell her and explain to her, and she looks at you like, what are you talking about? That's a good time. Like, all right, you need to simplify this offer. You need to simplify your message and like how you're communicating, what you're doing, right? So like, there's so many ways that I've used my spouse. My Karen is more operationally driven. She's more down to earth. I'm the visionary. I'm the guy that's like the balloon flying in the air, and she's the string holding me down. And it's good, to have that. And so
and usually y'all do competitions too. I've
and we
seen
like to
that.
make it fun,
It's like y'all always make it fun. So that's always been cool. I see it's like I remember one time it was I forget it was a conference or something last year, and I think I commented on you or something, or I commented on hers, and then you came in and said, no, don't meet with him, meet with me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're trying to sell some freaking tickets. So last year we did a whoever sold the least amount of tickets in a month period or something like that had to shave their head. And I won. And like we literally bought in the barber. It was like time to shave her head. And I kind of stepped in front and shaved mine. And I've never shaven my head. Like that's not something I would normally do, but I shaved my head. We went for it, and it was a great event. Oh, it was so great. That was the year. That was last year. John Maxwell was there. He did a 4-hour session with all of our VIPs, just them, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
So how long have you and Karen been married together and stuff?
And we just hit 10 years, which
10
is
years.
crazy to me. Yeah, 10 years.
It's like me and my wife. We've been together for just over 10. Just over.
Yeah.
We just January 1st. Yeah. But your story is very similar to what I went through. That's why I was like, that really hits home for me. And when people ask me the same thing all the time, like, how did you get that? I said, tell them, honestly, there was no agency without my wife and without everything. I said, I have no desire to do it, and she's the one that really helps and pushes it and makes it possible. And, without that, it's like, I tell people all the time, very first thing you need to do is I'm going to explain it with SEO, you need to get tier 1 link, which is your wife, and the partner. Good men are for good women.
Yeah. And that's where we've just been really blessed, man. We we've got a lot of really strong partnerships in the game and that have really stood the test of time. And of course, the wife is number one on that for me, but it can be anybody. That's just the people that'll tell you what it's like and piss you off and not afraid to tell you the truth and those type of things. Entrepreneurship is, especially if you're the boss,
Hmm.
a lot of times your team doesn't want to tell you the truth. They don't want to share with you the bad news. They don't want to come to you and talk to you that the culture sucks right now. And so the more you can get people surrounding you that are
It's
real.
not necessarily just it's not a yes, sir, or a yes, ma'am type. I'm going to tell you if it stinks.
Yeah.
But
Now,
also, like Karen with you, is like she saw you when you had the success, and then the very year y'all get married, you lost it all. So she's been there with you through having and not having. So
that's right.
that's
Yeah, man.
definitely a test. A test.
That's right. That's right. And those are all good things, man. As an entrepreneur, losing it all, it just gives you, man. I mean, we could go back to the trailer, not the trailer park, but we can go back to a maid's quarters and we're good, man. We're super good. So as an entrepreneur, that gives you another level to fight, as well. Again, like it is a fight in entrepreneurship, so tough, and it doesn't get easier, man. Like when I remember thinking like, oh, once I hire my manager to take over that team, it'll be so good. And then it's like, okay, well, once I hire the director, once I hit 100 clients, once I hit 200 clients, now it's once I hit 500 clients, and then it's, I mean, same exact problems, just different scale. Big agencies are thinking about finances just as much as the little ones are. The big ones are
Yeah.
thinking about recruiting just as much as the little ones are. It's just a different level. So yeah.
Okay. So we normally do this. I know Alfredo does it, but could you tell us something about JC that no one really knows, or so what makes JC unique? You
Oh,
know,
oh my goodness. Hitting me on the spot. What? Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see here.
it could be something that most people don't know. It's like with me, I like playing poker.
Okay.
It's little things like that, but just stuff that people just normally don't know about you, that sort of thing.
I'm a pretty open guy. Oh, William, man. I'll tell you something. I haven't told this story to many people. But it goes towards um, I don't know if this is even relevant, but just to tell you, like we
Yeah.
all we're all standing on the shoulders of other people, every
Mm,
one of us, and it's so important to realize like some of us don't want help, some of us just doing it on our own, some of us that, but there's not one person in 2022 that's successful because it's 100%. It just doesn't exist anymore. My daughter is now going to Harding Academy, and this is the school that I graduated from as a high school person. And so when I was 14, I ran away from my mom's house and went to live with my dad.
mm,
And when I left, man, I was a good kid, didn't do drugs, didn't smoke, didn't do anything. Um, but I had a 1.1 GPA. I was in trouble with the truant officer because my mom didn't make me go to school. I was all of these types of things. And I went to Harding Academy and they got me to grad. My dad's thought was if he graduates from there at a private Christian school, he'll be able to go to the university. Like just if he graduates, not a 4.0, not a 3.0, even just if he can graduate high school there, they'll let him into the university.
mhm,
And that school saw the potential in me in so many ways. I remember one time specifically, just to tell you how my life could have dramatically changed. One day, a kid was bullying my little brother, and I just turned around like, bro, like, dude, I would kill you if you hurt my brother. If you touch my brother, I would kill you. And everyone knows today that's not something you say. And of course, I was 14 years old, like obviously I was not serious about this whatsoever. But it was anyway, it was a serious thing. And one of the 6-year-olds around the corner heard me say this and told the principal. And 2 days later, principal came and asked me, "Did you threaten to kill someone?" And I said, "Yes, I did," and explained myself. Da 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 da. He's like, "We got to go check your car." And I had a really really nice pellet gun in my car. I'm from Arkansas,
mm,
the South.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment, it got really serious really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have that quick done probably what they should have done, which was call the police get involved, and immediately I am changed my life, forever. Right.
Yeah.
And they saw through that I was hurt. I was in a lot of pain. I was suffering. I was doing a lot of stuff. I wasn't being mean. I certainly wasn't serious. And probably if it was a public school, they would have had to call the police.
Yeah.
But because it was a private, they made their decision. And it altered, my future, right? And allowed me to do really, really great things. And so and this is a story, I mean, I don't think I've ever told hardly to anyone. Maybe a few people know it, someone on the team, but I tell that story for a couple of things. Number one, just I wouldn't be where I was because of those people specifically right there that honestly I hadn't talked to since that time period, right? That principal and so on and so forth. So as we're growing our business, you can look at this from both sides. Number one, like, what do you see in people? Some of the biggest opportunities in life are not so much where we, see the value that everyone else sees, is where we see the hidden value that no one sees, right? Like the people that are really affordable out there, but man, you just see something in them. This guy can crush it. If I give him a chance, if I get behind him, if I support him, he will destroy it for me, right? And so what are those opportunities out there? And then at the same time, even on your own self, like really accepting other people helping you, like go out and find help and get help and find coaches and work with people like yourself that are doing great things that have been there before you, and get as much support as you can. And you can do really big things. 6 years
So
ago,
no
made,
one is island is pretty we all have people that have helped us along the way,
that's right. That's
you
right.
know, versus thinking you did it all, you don't need nobody. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I told you before. I said, really, I think it's lacked in like agency work. It's like you have no one really to go to be like, I'm hurting. I feel like I'm burnt out. Or what do
Yeah.
you do when this happens? Because everybody else, they don't either A, they don't know what it's like, or you don't know, can you even trust them to talk to them about it?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Because,
Yeah.
it's unique.
Yeah.
So awesome. This replay, I'll send it to you and stuff as well. It will also be on YouTube. For the guys and gals that want to watch it, it'll also be inside GME Pros and everything else. What do you have coming in 2024? Is there anything upcoming anytime soon?
Man, I would love for you guys to follow me on the journey. Again, Undercover Agency is the Facebook group. We've got our mastermind. You got to beat $1 million to jump in there. Other than that, we're just hang out. Everything else is free unless you're at $1 million and want to jump in that group. We do have a big event in Costa Rica coming up, the Commitment Summit. Again, you got to be I think this year we're making it official. You have to be at $1 million to come to the event. But yeah, this is the Facebook group. Make sure to join it. I was a little sketchy on lives with the new year, but now we're going back to every day.
Every day. You already got almost 1,000 members in there already too. So,
And we haven't
and
even started really pushing it. It looks like High Level is going to be sponsoring the experiment as a whole. So that's good to come here pretty soon. And so that's going to throw a lot of meat on the fire, or wood on the fire, flames on the fire. I'll come out with the schedule for next week.
Yeah.
We're having the meetings. This was a couple weeks ago, but we're having them at around 3:30 or 4 o'clock every day, the lives, and talking
But
about
you're
things
doing
like
them
this.
every day, and you're talking about anything from sales and conversations to
Yeah.
game planning and budgeting, and your faith as well into it.
Yeah.
So,
Everything and
so if you
anything.
guys aren't in there, make sure to go there. It's Undercover Agency from 0 to 10K in just 4 months. So appreciate it, JC. Thank
All
you
right,
so
brother.
much. Thank you
Yeah.
guys. And
Thank you.
we'll see you again. Appreciate it.